Welcome to the TechMediaWire Podcast powered by IBN. This original audio production delivers market and sector insights, as well as exclusive interviews with innovative executives shaping the future in fast-moving industries, and may feature a client partner of IBN or one of the 60-plus investor-focused brands within IBN's dynamic brand portfolio. As a multifaceted financial news and publishing company, IBN leverages its extensive distribution network, utilizing multiple proprietary corporate communication tools to introduce both public and private companies to a vast and diverse audience of investors, consumers, influencers, journalists, and other targeted segments of the public. IBN may have received compensation to produce this audio content. Please be sure to read IBN's entire disclaimers for full disclosures. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the next revelatory episode of IBN's TechMediaWire podcast.
Hi, and welcome to another riveting episode with me, Carmel Fisher. Today, we're bringing you more informative updates from companies that are operating in very fast-moving industries. One in particular is TZUP Media Corporation. I'm very excited to welcome Mr. Robert Steele, CEO for the NASDAQ-listed TZUP Media Corp. They go with the ticker TZUP. They are an emerging leader in social media branding and programmatic marketing solutions. Mr. Steele, welcome. Please tell us more about TZUP Media Corporation and the mission for 2025.
Great, Carmel. Thank you for having me on the podcast. So yes, TZUP, we think of TZUP as Uber for advertising. So just like Uber created tens of billions of dollars of value by democratizing ride sharing so that anyone can participate and make a little extra money driving people around, we believe that TZUP is in the process of democratizing the $200 billion social media marketing and advertising industry, which means opening it up so that everybody can participate and everybody can get paid to tell their friends about brands and businesses that they love. TZUP is the only platform that we know of that makes it really easy for any brand or business to pay people cash to post about the brand or business to their personal friends on their personal social media. So we're very excited about that, and we think this is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity for investors that would get involved and take a position in the stock right now.
Excellent. And just before we move forward to discuss more about the unified content management system, the stock price currently at $3.71, a little bit down from the open as of 12:38. That's the quote, but still looking strong. Just a bit more about the unified content management system now. How does it address the distinct audience expectations and the content formats across TikTok, Instagram, and X?
Yes. So, for instance, here in the area that you and I are in, there's a coffee shop called La Frenchie Cafe on Washington in Mar Vista. So one morning I needed a cup of coffee, and I actually forgot that they were an advertiser in our app. And I was standing in line. The woman in front of me orders a latte, and I said, "Pardon me, do you use Instagram?" She says, "Yes." I said, "See that sign on the counter? This coffee shop will pay you $10 to share a photo of your latte with your friends on your Instagram." And before I'd even finished that sentence, this stranger pulled her phone out of her purse, pointed her phone camera at the QR code, put thumbs up on her phone, and made her $10 for her $6 latte. So she's up $4 in moments. That's frictionless. That's very, very important in these types of tech companies, is that the user has a very, very easy experience. So the reason why I tell you this story, and for your audience, is because what really matters is the second part of the story, that I have another friend who does not know that woman. They've never met. They're not friends on social media. And she came to me and she said, Robert, I just found my new favorite coffee shop, La Frenchie Cafe on Washington. But here's the punchline. She says, I have lived next to it for years, and I didn't even know it was there until I saw a post about it on Instagram through TZUP. And that is the problem and the power. So the problem for all the small businesses in the United States, and I would argue all businesses, is that when you walk around, everyone has their face in their phone. Just within the last week, I've been in an elevator. All 4 people in the elevator are on their phone while they're in the elevator. I mean, not to be coarse, but in the men's room, people are standing in the men's room. They've all got, I don't know what it's like in the ladies' room, but everybody's on their phone. So if a business is not on that phone, they're not even going to be noticed in 2025. And particularly for small businesses, they have, they're busy. They've got to make the food. They've got to make the product. They've got to they got to man the counter. So they don't have time to be on Instagram on those phones. and we solve that problem for them. Okay, so the way that works is the coffee shop, and this could be Coca-Cola, it could be your corner coffee shop. So it's just advertising. So they go on the TZUPmedia.com website, they create a campaign. They pick how much they want to pay people to post about their business. They pick how many posts they want to buy. So the most common pitch that we give to a small business is pay $10, buy 100 posts. 10 times 100 is $1,000. We charge 30% on that. That's our revenue. So they're going to be charged $1,300 on their credit card. $300 is the revenue to ThumzUp, and $1,000 stays in the system until 100 posts get made. And then once the 101 post attempt happens, that user in the ThumzUp app sees a message that says, this campaign's been so popular, please try again later. And then we send an autoresponder to the advertiser, click here to renew your account. That's the recurring revenue business model. And then we give the advertiser we call it a dashboard, a system where they can see all the posts. If they want to, they can review and approve the posts. For small businesses, we do that for them just to make the experience as easy as possible. But that is it. It's very simple concept. When people hear this, they often think, wow, why hasn't anyone done this already? So it's pretty obvious once people see it how big it could be, but we have first mover advantage. This is our proprietary technology. I designed the technology, so it all works. Now we're just scaling, so we have first mover advantage, and we again think that at the level that you mentioned just a moment ago, that this is tremendous upside for an investor that gets involved at these levels right now.
100%. And you know what? You're just getting in with what people are already doing. As you mentioned, we are on our phones already. We're already mentioning, taking pictures of anywhere we are, basically. And so with this just gives some money in the pocket for those getting involved with the hands-on exposure that they're giving to these advertisers. I love the concept myself. Let's talk about the PayPal and Venmo integrations. What payment verification systems are in place to ensure transparent compensation for creators while also preventing potential fraud?
Sure. So in the app, when the user makes their first post, at the end of that process, they're asked to give either their Venmo name or their PayPal name, and that makes the connection for how they can be paid. So then there's just a pay me button, and when they tap pay me, then they're going to receive those funds by whichever platform they chose, Venmo or PayPal. So Venmo is actually owned by PayPal, so it's the same business, it's the same security protocol. So we don't ever have any information. There's no risk to our user because they're just giving us the name to send them some money. So we can't, there's no possible way for anybody to hack us and withdraw their money because we don't have their password. Okay. So the security for the payment system for ThumzUp users is all handled by PayPal. And I believe that PayPal has had a really, really strong history of security, in my opinion, from what I've seen. And then as far as the transparency goes, the user sees instantly the status of their account. So when they make a post, there is a second step that has to occur. It does have to be reviewed and approved. So they can see that instantly in the app. They can see what their balance is for posts that have been made but not yet ready to fund. And then there's another balance total for those posts that have been approved and are ready to fund. And then we are a public company. So, every quarter, the whole world can see, how many posts have been paid, how many posts have been approved but not yet paid. So it's all very transparent for both the users and for the investors.
Wonderful. Could you break down the revenue structure between platforms and then explain how ThumzUp's take rate compares to traditional influencer marketing models?
Sure. So again, it's very, very simple that an advertiser is going to buy a campaign. They're going to decide how much they want to pay. So they could pay as little as $1. In our current system, the advertiser could pay as much as $1,000. So the highest payout that we've had so far has been $50. So think about a luxury item. So we envision that in the future that there will be more luxury items in the platform. That how much would a Lamborghini dealer pay to have their happy customer that just bought a new Lamborghini make a post with him by his car to his friends on his Instagram? We think they'd pay more than $50. We think that's worth quite a bit of money. Also, the system can require proof of purchase. Okay, so if a luxury item wanted to do a much larger payout, they can also have the security of knowing that the user has presented a proof of payment before they pay them for their social media post. So we did an analysis of our cost per like and our cost per reach. And we found that our cost per reach and our cost per like was below other publicly distributed figures for Facebook advertising. So we do believe that we're competitive with Facebook advertising from a cost standpoint. But our position is we believe that ThumzUp posts are superior to Facebook advertising because a thumbs up campaign is real people telling their friends. And Nielsen says that 92% of people trust recommendations from friends and family above advertising. So we believe that we've established a precedent here that on ThumzUp, you can have the value of real people telling their friends about your brand or business, but the cost effectiveness of the digital ads that you're already very familiar with.
Yeah, really interesting model because you see my friends, you see me, and what they're doing, it's very likely that I'll be doing too. So that was answering my question where it's not really dependent on reach or amount of followers, so to say. It's more about the post, and I know you just explained that, but is it dependent on reach more than followers, is what it sounds like?
Good question. Well, so we believe that we are disruptive to the existing social media marketing landscape, which means that we're doing something new and different that is potentially more powerful than the existing way that people do it. Okay, so but we do have to fit what we're doing into the lens of how people look at these things. So you're not the only person to ask this question. Okay, so we believe that the individual follower count is less important than traditionally you might have thought of in influencer marketing. Okay, so what we're doing is we're making it easy in a programmatic way for a brand or business to activate a lot of people. So we want them to think of the campaign in aggregate, in total, not in terms of individual follower counts, okay? Because there is good data that show that people who are not professional influencers who have smaller follower counts have much higher response rates. So if someone only has 50 or 100 followers, like you may have friends that live in your neighborhood and you know them personally. And if they make a post about a local coffee shop, or if they make a post about a new Coca-Cola product, or if they make a post about something new at Erewhon, you're going to pay attention to that because you actually know them. And they wouldn't even put it on their Instagram if they really didn't actually like it, even if they were getting a small cash reward for it. So that's why we don't think it's as relevant what the individual follower count is. Now, you do have to have at least 50 followers to be paid on ThumzUp, and the advertiser can set that. So if they don't buy into our vision, that's fine. They can set the minimum. They could set the minimum to 10,000 followers, so they could use our platform to attract semi-professional or professional influencers. They could set it to 100,000. So if they wanted to pay $1,000 and the minimum follower count that they want on the campaign is 100,000 users, the platform will do that. But that's not the billion-dollar story. That's the existing influencer marketing world. Okay, we think the big future, particularly for investors, is activating the general public. So what we give is we give the advertiser our system where they can see the aggregate total of reach and the aggregate total of response. So if they buy 100 posts, what they're going to see on average is that the average follower count is north of 1,000. Okay, so different evaluations that we've done have found that our follower count on average is actually between 2,000 and 3,000. Now that means that you're going to have a cluster of people who are 50 or 100 or 200, and then you're going to have some outliers who look like professional influencers who have 10,000 or 100,000 followers who just happen to post about the brand of the business because they actually really like it. They're not concerned about the fact that they only got $10 because they actually want to help the business. So ThumzUp draws in it draws in some professional influencers, but what it's designed to do is create neighbor to neighbor traction for brands or businesses with a smaller follower count. But it's not worth the time of the brand or business really just to chase down one person who's got 100 followers. But in ThumzUp campaign, they're going to get the aggregate. The 100 posts are going to reach, on average, more than 100,000 people. So thanks for the question.
Of course. I love that it's leading to a back to basics feel in terms of word of mouth, right? Only digitizing word of mouth. And I think that's a smart way to approach advertising in general these days. Let's look at AI. Of course, no conversation will be complete without addressing the AI that's overtaking industries as we speak. How is ThumzUp leveraging AI or machine learning to optimize campaign performance across multiple platforms at the same time?
Yeah, so we're a public company, so I can only speak to what we have already released out there. So we have forged a partnership with a experienced AI developer and consulting company, and they are currently working on some designs for some features along the lines of what you're speaking about. We did publish some videos of some preliminary early stage AI solutions that we're looking at. So those videos that we published are videos of live code that's actually already working. So what you might see in the future is you might see us use AI technology to help train our users. So think about captions. So our users are making a post, and the system asks them, do you want some suggestions on a caption that would give you a good response rate that your friends would like to read? So you might see features like that in the app. You might see AI tools to help us train users. You might see AI tools to help us reach more advertisers. You might see AI tools to help us customize and optimize campaigns so that a campaign is only being made available to users that really fit the brand profile more strongly. So I think you can imagine of all the different ways that we would be using artificial intelligence. You might imagine that as we scale the company, that we might be using AI intelligence to help us scale in terms of the review and approval process of the posts. And that's something that I personally have a lot of experience in as a software architect. I've done similar things related to high volume transaction processing with machine learning at previous points in my career. So stay tuned. We'll have more that we can say about this in the future.
We will definitely be covering this news, so stay tuned to the Bell to Bell podcast and anywhere else you find our information. But moving on to the 600 plus advertisers that you have onboarded, you've touched on some key metrics. I want to hear now more particularly about the key metrics that would demonstrate the platform's ROI and user retention rates that would be of interest to potential investors.
Yeah, so over the last year, we did not have a large budget for marketing, and we tripled our advertiser, roughly tripled, went from about 183 to 600. So that was with a very, very, very small, almost a very, very tiny marketing spend. So now that we've recently raised some capital, we have put out our goal of delivering a 10x in advertiser growth. So that's really the key metric that we want investors to be tracking with us on right now is the growth of advertisers. So we launched in Los Angeles. We have density we got density in Venice Beach and Santa Monica. So right now today in Venice Beach, there's more than 20 places within a mile on the boardwalk that'll pay you to post. So what we did is we established that we could get market dominance in an area, and what we saw was that people we had never met would go door to door and tell businesses that they should sign up for ThumzUp, and that advertisers that we had never spoken to would contact us and want to be on the platform. So density in an area is what delivers that. This is similar to how Uber launched. It's similar to how Airbnb launched. Airbnb knows that if they get at least 300 listings in a new geography, that it grows organically from there based on what I've read. So we're just duplicating that strategy. So we focused on getting concentration in Los Angeles. And then just recently, we put out press releases that we've started this in Miami and South Florida. So we're just now getting advertisers sign up in Miami and South Florida. So right now, the main metric that we want to focus people on is this ability for us to grow the advertisers that are in the app, because that is what is going to lead to us being able to build a strong and robust business. Because there's 33, so Facebook, Meta, more than $1 trillion in market cap company. So they have 8 million advertisers. So most of the advertisers on Meta are small businesses. So in the US, there's 33 million small businesses, and on average in any given year, 45% of them buy digital ads. When they do buy digital ads, they spend on average $500 a month. So what we're focused on is getting to 10% of those businesses, giving us 20% of their ad budgets. That'd be 1.9 billion in ad volume on our platform. And our 30%, the math works out to that being 442 million in revenue. And if we can trade at 5 times revenue, that's a $2 billion company. So that's up from about 30 to 40 million market cap where we are now. So that's a tremendous upside. That's a Uber type of upside for investors that get involved now. So that's really what we're focused on is that advertiser acquisition, and that really leads to all of the other things, to the renewals. So it's basic marketing funnel concept. Right now we're focused on building the front of the funnel. And then as the year goes on, you'll see us put out more detail about conversions and driving revenue from that funnel.
Looking forward to it. You recently sealed a partnership deal with Tedros Global Solutions. Can you speak to us about that partnership and how it's going to enhance your AI capabilities for ad targeting, and if there's any improvements you've seen as yet?
Yes, and that is the consultant that I spoke to in the question about the artificial intelligence. So we have put out some videos that people can see about the work in progress related to using AI technology to help us help users make better posts, to help us recruit users, to help us recruit advertisers, to help advertisers better understand how to use the platform. You might see us do things like using AI technology to help advertisers customize or screen the users that are actually the best fit for their campaigns. You might see us use AI technology to help us review and approve posts so that we can scale that part of the business really, really rapidly without having to use human staffing. So Tedros is our partner in helping us roll out some of those features, but I can't speak to any dates yet.
Not a problem. So as a leader in this particular sector or field of social media and ad tech, are there any technological barriers that ThumZup has managed to establish that will protect against potential competitors?
Well, it's a good question, and it's a common question that I get when I am putting the proposition in front of investors. Part of my job is to study how prior CEOs and founders have navigated from 0 to 1, and what I think you find if you really look at these types of companies is that it's about execution. Okay, that in software, it's very easy to get around software patents. So I have applied for software patents. I've been granted a software patent. So I make the case that with this type of business, I don't believe that Uber had an early stage patent protection. I don't believe that Airbnb had an early stage patent protection. It's an execution game. It's executing the business as we've discussed for the last few minutes, and creating the moat that we create is that if a competitor wants to come along and do what ThumZup is doing, they have to convince investors that they can beat us. Okay. And right now we've raised $13 million to date. We're on the NASDAQ. We have access to capital. The software is already built. So any investor that would finance a competitor has to, that CEO has to convince those investors that they're going to overcome all of that head start that we have. And then by the time they get funded and write software, we're going to be a year ahead of where we are now. And that's really the moat. That's really the what gives us the protection as opposed to software patents, which are hard to enforce. A software patent's only as good as your ability and your funding to be able to sue somebody.
Well said. Let's talk about scaling, the scaling of the infrastructure in particular. How will you do that and maintain profit margins as well as user experience?
Well, so when before Google had done lots of acquisitions, when they were mostly just a search engine and an ad tech platform, Google had extremely high margins. My recollection is something like 38% net profit after taxes. So we think that ThumzUp is that type of business, that this is just a software business. So right now, as we speak, there's people making posts right now. There's advertisers signing up. It all happens without human involvement. It's just a piece of code. So when you get a piece of code that people like to use, that's self-service like this, it has the potential to have tremendous margins. And we believe that ThumzUp is that type of business. Now, in the near term, we have to market it, so think of like a movie. So if you want to make $1 billion making a movie, first you have to shoot the movie. That costs money. Then you have to advertise the movie. That costs money. But then, boom, in a 60-day window, you can make $1 billion. So our movie's been shot. The software works. Everybody listening here can download it and get paid to post right now. So now we're in the advertising phase. So we got to make sure that people know about it. But once people start coming to our movie, we believe that this is $1 billion revenue opportunity right there.
Wonderful. I have to ask the question just because it's looming, above many people's heads. Is the TikTok potential ban that is imminent, provided that it's sold to a US company, of course, what happens in either event or in the worst case scenario of that situation?
Well, so, I appreciate the question, but this is really more of a political thing. And I'm not privy to the politics. So, our vision is to be a social media platform agnostic. Okay. So we actually, from our standpoint, we like the fact that social media is going through a fragmentation phase where you're active on the social media that's sort of your tribe. Okay. So we plan to support all the meaningful social media platforms, and we plan to implement our get paid to post value proposition across all the different social media platforms. So for us, we don't necessarily have any allegiance per se to one versus the other. However, the data has shown, in my opinion, that currently Instagram is still the one that has the greatest influence on people's purchasing decisions. So this is a personal opinion, but I think that what TikTok has done is they have designed an algorithm that makes people famous quickly. So that's what creates the excitement and the buzz. But I think the data still shows that TikTok is not influencing people's purchasing decisions the way Instagram is. And that's why Instagram is still, in my opinion, the premier platform for a brand or business that wants to influence people's purchasing decisions. But TikTok is very good at creating buzz for the TikTok users and for the company itself. But right now, if someone asked me to put my own money up and bet on what's going to happen with TikTok, I wouldn't do it because I really have absolutely no idea which way the wind's going to blow on that one.
100%. And regardless, I think ThumzuP Media has obviously positioned itself in such a way that come any social media, anyone in particular, you're equipped to handle and be, either with the social media platform that is there or not, or just pivot to something new, something else, which I'm sure you guys are well established to do. This has been a fantastic conversation. Again, I've been speaking to CEO Mr. Robert Steele. He is the CEO of TZUP Media Corporation, an emerging leader in social media branding and programmatic marketing solutions. TZUP has been featured on CBS Los Angeles and in KTLA. So be sure to check out the platform itself and get spending, get earning. As a small business, you can obviously get your advertising out there, get exposed, but also as a consumer or someone who just loves to post, you can be an influencer to your niche, to your group of friends, and make some money in the process. This has been a fantastic conversation, Mr. Steele. Thank you very much. You guys, stay tuned for more.
The TechMediaWire Podcast is an original content production powered by IBN, a multifaceted financial news and publishing company that delivers next-generation corporate communication solutions. Utilizing proprietary corporate communication tools such as news aggregation and syndication, social communication, and brand awareness techniques, among others, IBN introduces both public and private companies to diverse audiences to enhance reach and recognition. IBN may receive compensation for services and solutions provided to its client partners. You should assume that the owners, officers, and directors of IBN or financial analysts mentioned in this production may hold a position in and may intend to trade the securities in their own accounts. This production is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell any securities that may be mentioned in this production. The information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be or should it be construed as investment advice. As in all investments, investment in the featured companies carries inherent investment risk. Listeners should review the companies thoroughly with a registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This production by IBN is not purported to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used in statements of fact have been obtained from featured companies and other sources but not verified nor guaranteed by IBN as to completeness and accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice. Please see IBN's full disclaimers and disclosures at www.ibn.fm/disclaimer. Music in this episode is by Infraction. For more, visit inaudio.org.